The Dominican College OT program has been asked to assist the public areas of the Dominican College campus to help determine how to improve the overall accessibility of Casey Hall in both the short term and long term. Today, we will be exploring Casey Hall and applying concepts of universal design. We will be making suggested environmental modifications specific to our client and prospective student, Alice. So first, we will interview Alice to develop an occupational profile to help guide our modification.
Hi, Alice and Jeffrey.
Hi.
Thank you so much for meeting with me today again. So I had some time to look over your assessment results, and I would just like to clarify a couple of things. So with the increase in symptoms due to your MS, we may have to make some recommendations for you in order to get you ready to return back to school. Now, as you know, the school is currently under renovations. So can you tell me, what things do you find most difficult while you're in school?
Well, I find it hard to work. I used to be a teacher, and I need to rest after about 15 minutes now. Other than that, I can do everything else.
Well, sometimes it takes her all day to do laundry, and when she's making dinner, sometimes she doesn't even finish, you know?
Okay, all right, I
I
see.
don't know. I get everything done.
Okay, all right. Well, based on the results of the brief, it does show that you have some difficulty with planning and organizing, task monitoring and initiation, and working memory. Now, this is why, Alice, when you start a project, you may not be able to finish it fully. Now, we can work on a planner and a daily schedule to help you maintain focus and remain on schedule throughout the day. So tell me, what other things do you find most difficult?
Well, walking is really awkward with these crutches, and how am I going to carry my books?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that she's safe at all with the crutches. I think that she's fallen several times. It just makes me nervous to leave her alone, come back and check on her,
Okay.
you know?
And my hands are numb. It's hard for me to use this phone. I can only lift my arms about this high, and sometimes it's even hard for me to get out of the
Okay,
chair.
I see. Well, these are all valid points, and safety and accessibility is very important. So why don't we go over to Casey Hall and we'll work on together?
Okay,
Yeah.
let's go.
Okay.
Now let's observe Alice as she visits Casey Hall. As Alice parks, the one handicapped space has been taken, but fortunately there is an open non-handicapped space that is vacant and close to the main entrance. As we can recall from the occupational interview and Alice's client background, we know she ambulates with loft-strand crutches. She also has to bring her heavy textbooks to class and is using a saddlebag. When approaching the entrance, there are 2 ramps and railings with plenty of room for the landing. The ramp is 12 inches high and 15 feet and 3 inches in length, which is up to ADA standards, but does require colored, non-slip gripping surfaces. The railings are 33 inches high, but are required to be 34 inches high, which will require taller railings to be installed. As you can see, a great environmental modification for Alice would be to include a bench both at the base of the ramp and at the top of the ramp. When entering the building, there are 2 33.5-inch separated manual doors with a 1-inch threshold at the floor. This will require a major modification of installing an automatic door and lowering the threshold to 1/2 inch to be universally accessible. The 2 stairs that are located at the center of the entrance will be removed for the entrance to be universally compatible. Before entering the building, we can see the landing is up to code, which is required to be 5 feet to enter the building. When facing the building, a sign with braille will be installed at a height of 48 inches that indicates what building the individual is currently at to accommodate those who may be visually impaired. When inside the building, the entrance is 8 feet and 5 inches wide and 20 feet long, allowing plenty of room for any individual. Again, the rug on the floor should be removed due to its ability of being a tripping hazard or increasing resistance when manually pushing a wheelchair. On the right, when walking through the entrance hall, there are signs to indicate locations for other departments within the building. These signs are required to be lowered and to have braille writing to assist those who may be visually impaired. These signs should also be made bigger, bolder, and brighter. Using full spectrum bulbs will emulate the sunlight to limit the glare of the signs. There are some signs that do include Braille. However, the contrast of the font can be increased and the font can be made larger. There is no threshold to enter the 19 by 18 foot common room. The room has a low pile carpet with plenty of open space. There is a large 66-inch table with a height of 26.5 inches. The chairs around the table do not have armrests. There are 2 vending machines that are not fully accessible for the mobility, visually, or auditorily impaired. The height of the vending keypad and money slot are not within ADA standards, which suggests that the front and side should be within 15 to 48 inches. However, a strength is that one vending machine does have Braille on the keypad. There is a light switch on the wall which is 44 inches high. This is a good height. It can be easily flipped on, and there is a sign placed next to the light with Braille. Alice has a few minutes before class and she decides to get a snack in the common area. She's fatigued from walking through the parking lot in the hallway and decides to sit down. However, the chair is not by the vending machine and she must place her books down and move the chair over using her loft-strung crutches. And as we know, Alice has poor dynamic balance. Alice's decreased sensation to touch in her hands makes it difficult to feel the buttons and press them on the vending machine. Her decreased gross motor and fine motor coordination also make it difficult to raise her arms and press the button. Environmental modifications for Alice in the common room include a chair with armrests placed next to the vending machine, a vending machine with a lowered keypad with larger buttons, as this will require less energy for Alice to access the vending machine. The classroom entrance is 34 inches wide with no threshold, with a heavy manual door that swings in. As we can see, Alice is having great difficulty maneuvering through the entrance. An environmental modification for Alice would be to have an automatic door. But if this is not possible, a short-term, less expensive option would be to have a door wedge to keep the door open for Alice. A universally designed classroom entrance would include a door with 36 inches in width and a sensored automatic door with no threshold. The classroom appears to be cluttered with desks and chairs presenting obstacles as Alice navigates to find a chair. This poses a great safety risk as we know Alice is already at a high risk for falls. An environmental modification for Alice would be to arrange the desks so that the aisles are clear and wide enough with no obstructions.
Let's get started on page 199. Does anybody have any questions?
Now let's observe Alice's occupational performance within the classroom.
In terms of developmental diseases,
Alice is becoming frustrated as it becomes harder for her to keep up with the course material presented in the classroom. This can be attributed to her poor executive functioning skills, specifically difficulty with planning, organizing, task monitoring, initiation, and working memory. Luckily, we can provide Alice with some simple environmental modifications to help her with her success in the classroom.
Are you getting this down?
I'm trying.
Okay, all right.
Alice's hands are fatiguing from writing and turning the pages in her textbook. Recommended modifications to the classroom that will improve Alice's role as a student include providing ebook option, a classroom laptop, having the materials and lecture posted online, audio recorded lectures, voice-to-text options to eliminate writing, and having a seat close to the door, a chair with armrests, and to eliminate clutter and obstacles in the classroom.